got a lot to talk about today, guys, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Yeah, check out this awesome video. Some are calling this a jellyfish UFO. It doesn't look anything like the jellyfish captured by Skywatcher, but it definitely looks like some actual jellyfish that are out there. These little gelatinous blobs. Yeah, I can see why people are calling it that. Could this have a mundane explanation? Could this be a balloon? Possibly. It doesn't look to me like a balloon at all. But hey, let me know if you think that could be a balloon or if you think there could be some sort of mundane explanation for this object. To me, this is very compelling. I would like it to do something more anomalous, some crazy movements or something. But it's just kind of drifting along. I think it might be drifting along too slowly to be drifting with the wind. So that's interesting. But then again, I don't know what the wind was doing that day in Idaho. This was on September 2nd. So yeah, let me know what you think about that in the comments below. Meanwhile, Ross Coulthart is reporting on a UFO incident seen by multiple police officers.
On the 9th of July, 2025, 3 law enforcement officers in the Minneapolis area, 2 hours duration for the first sighting, 4 minutes duration for the second sighting on video, an amorphous, rapidly changing blob of light and energy-emitting colors throughout the visual spectrum, long duration positive lift, and then traveled approximately 40 miles in 5 seconds. Wow.
Yeah, so this is about that. Sure. I mean, this is describing one witness who reported for the 2 others in the MSP area. They're law enforcement officers. The first occurrence in February, they observed this object from a hill where they were conducting training for over 25 minutes before having the time to go to a higher location, which was a parking garage, where they observed the object just floating in the sky, sometimes moving slowly, sometimes being stationary, and then sometimes moving rather quickly, but linearly. And after about 25 minutes, also, from my recollection, on that parking garage, a helicopter got within, near vicinity of the object. I don't think the helicopter was aware of its presence. And then the object, as described by the witness, moved 40 miles north in the span of 5 seconds.
Wow, what a great sighting. Meanwhile, although Eric Burleson promised us direct participants of the UFO crash retrieval and reverse engineering programs at the next UFO hearing, Jeremy Corbell, who I did a great screen grab of here, is pessimistic on that ever happening, or at least happening in the near future.
There has to be somebody who's so upset with something surrounding this that they're just like going to try to burn it all down. And usually those people never make it to the starting point. If they're coming from that attitude, people that work in those programs are so highly monitored with polygraphs and, their family lives, making sure they're stable. If you remember all the way back, looking to Lazar, why did he get not called back for the program? It was because they found out his wife was cheating on him and he became a security risk. That's how security clearances work, is you have to have a stable family life. So people that would break from the fold, that are feeling all that type of pressure and just try to burn the whole house down, dude, they're going to find out they're in that mental state way prior to them ever being able to get to the starting point. So it's a long way to say, yeah, man, the Holy Grail. Yeah, I know about those conversations. I've talked to people on both sides of those conversations. The thing is, there's no indication that people like that are at this moment willing to come forward. And in fact,
well, that's disappointing. I can only hope that Jeremy is wrong. Meanwhile, John Stewart says that Pandora has been unleashed. That's right, newly unearthed Apollo 11 footage showing alleged UAP. This is the mysterious code word that was circulating in the bowels of our community, Pandora, and it has been released. Approximately 30 years ago, an American UFO researcher requests and gets sent a canister of film from NASA with a mistaken portion showing a pulsating UFO hovering off the moon's crater marked surface. Present day, the man dies and his son sends the footage, 8 minutes long, to a group headed by a worthy UFO researcher, Shivam Thobhani. Nailed it. Nailed it. In the UK, this group invites me to participate in a documentary project. During this process, 2 months, NASA suddenly releases a declassified still image describing it as a planetary body. However, careful examination of the 16 millimeter reel reveals an object that visibly pulsates and moves away from the Apollo 11 craft, contradicting the official explanation. I have edited the 8-minute reel, slowing and enlarging the most significant sequence. All right. We're going to see actual UFO captured by NASA or videoed by NASA. Very intriguing. We see some opening images of the astronauts. And John is shortening this from the original 8-minute long video. Now, I believe that object in the sky there above the moon is supposed to be the UFO. When I first saw this, I assumed that was, Earth as seen from the moon, or something like that. But apparently, this is supposed to be the UFO, and you can see this movement on this object. John calls it pulsating. This pulsating movement of this object. So let me know what you guys think. Is this legit? Is this on the level? There's definitely debate about this. Alex says, I recognize the After Effects filter used. John says, yes, I did that on my iPhone to show it undulating. I wrote that I edited the footage. Please provide link of the NASA release. And he says that NASA had released a still image. And apparently this is the still image that NASA released. Not everybody is convinced by this, and there's heavy debate in the comments section over whether or not this is an actual UFO being depicted in the film. Alien Hunter shares this, which he believes explains the phenomena that we're seeing in that video. Everybody has a theory. I don't know what the truth is. I hope that John can find out more information on this to confirm or deny that this is actually a UFO captured on camera by NASA. Meanwhile, Wixie is posting this: a crisp, clear night down in Chile. You look up and you spot a few UFOs that put on a show you would never forget. All right, let's take a look. All right, yeah, just imagine it's in the evening, you're down in Chile, looking up at the beautiful mountains in the sky, and all of a sudden you see these crazy UFOs lighting up the sky. That's pretty cool. I like that. That's a great sighting. Looks very anomalous to me. I mean, could those be drones or something? I guess. But it looks pretty good. I like it a lot. And that is a mood too, watching UFOs down in Chile. Now, I don't know what those green lights are. It makes me wonder if there's some sort of event going on that this could be part of. So yeah, not quite sure. But yeah, a very amazing footage. So let me know what you guys think. Meanwhile, Sean Kirkpatrick, the lovely Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, is not happy about the next UFO hearing. He says if Luna and her lunatics want to continue to parade charlatans and grifters in front of an audience to satisfy her need for playhouse politics, then the American people should demand accountability of all the wasted taxpayer money and congressional time she has derailed from more serious issues facing this country. Yeah, not like your control group buddies haven't derailed a lot of money to build UFOs. Good one, Sean. Yeah. Clearly, she has been working quietly with these pseudoscientists and attention seekers to script a hearing and then launch it as a surprise onto the world, possibly to distract, or more likely because that's all she is qualified to do. In the face of international crises, where is the accountability? Where is DOGE when there is a legitimate target of fraud, waste, and abuse in Congress? Where is the DOJ investigation into the congressional misappropriation and corruption associated with trying to funnel money to these grifters and actively obstruct legitimate work by the DoD and the IC. Well, as something of a counterpoint, let's listen to this tweet by Eddie Abbott, UFO whistleblower Eddie Abbott, who talks about the mechanics of retrieving a downed UFO, capturing a craft with a pilot. Whenever we recover a downed craft and there is a living pilot or crew member, two things must be understood immediately. There is a communication that the craft is in trouble. A signal is sent back to where the craft originated. All crash sites are rapidly handled. Like us, a mayday is expected, and this brings more craft, usually cloaked. Handlers must move very quickly. 2, suit. The suit these beings wear is usually confiscated immediately. The suits have cloaking ability and have extravagant weaponry built within them that can be activated with simple motions. The defensive capabilities of these suits can be devastating to any adversary. The suits are where we came up with Kevlar. Once the being and the craft are secured, they are rushed under heavy guard to the closest underground facility where they never see the light of day again. Yeah, so there you go, Sean. It's a waste to pry into the whole UFO situation, according to the lovely Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick. But I guess it's not a waste to hoard this exotic technology away from the rest of the world. Meanwhile, Eric Burleson relates what David Grush told him about different alien species, particularly the Nordics and the Greys.
What Grush has told me, this is what blew my mind, and what he said that happened with Trump. And I'll just tell you this, and just again, I don't know that. I want to preface this by saying this is not what I believe. This is what I've been told. Okay, he said that the Nordic people or the Nordic aliens are like a few hundred years more advanced than we are, but they're not super advanced. They're not like, he said the Greys, whatever is sending the Greys is extremely advanced, like thousands and thousands of years more advanced than us, because it's doing all the anti-gravity stuff, all the crazy, all this crazy stuff that's very highly advanced. And a lot of it is what he says with the Greys is psionic.
Okay, I have questions about that, David Grush, because that's who Eric is getting this information from. The Nordics have anti-gravity. They have, psionic communication, and they are sometimes during experiences actually the bosses of the Greys. The Greys seem to work for two main groups, the Nordics and the Mantis beings, which is interesting. Now, there's pieces of evidence out there that suggest there are different factions among the Greys. So possibly that represents different factions, and some are, goodly factions, and some are, malevolent factions, or at least more self-interested factions. Unclear whether it's the Mantids or the Nordics that are the goodly ones that the Greys are working for. It is interesting that Eric does say that they are working for somebody. He recognizes that the Greys are not necessarily acting on their own, which I think speaks to a significant understanding of the UFO phenomenon, even though he doesn't necessarily believe in the UFO phenomenon. At least that's what he says publicly. But there are various encounters out there, many encounters, where people see the Nordics in that, they see little gray guys working for the Nordics, carrying out their will. So I don't see how the Greys could be more advanced than the Nordics. But hey, I don't know. Let me know if you have any theories that could account for that. If maybe David Grush, who's relaying this information, is correct in that. To me, that doesn't make a lot of sense based on my own research. And that makes me a little concerned because I want David Grush to have correct information and to be giving correct information to members of Congress and the public. So maybe he's right. Maybe my research shows something that isn't reflected in reality. Now, I don't think that's true. Again, there's many experiences out there or experiencers who have related their experiences out there that do suggest that, yeah, the Greys in some circumstances work for the Nordics. So let me know what you guys think about all that in the comments below. Last but not least, what your cat's doing when you're asleep. Let me know what you think about this amazing cat and baby and everything else covered in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. Love to see you guys there. If you want to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt in the merch store below or by becoming a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really do appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, there's plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.